Thank you very much. Mr. Koretz for the 5th District. And I see the former 5th District representative there as well. And very good, Mr. Fear, our city attorney. Hey, before you do, let's welcome our city attorney, Mike Fear, right now. Former council member, thank you. Mr. Koretz.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I'd ask Councilmember O Farrell to join me up here. Councilmember O Farrell and I, as well as the City of Los Angeles, are here to recognize today, October 10th, as World Mental Health Day. We're joined by NAMI LA, which is LA's branch of the largest grassroots mental health organization in our country, the National Alliance for Mental Illness, and by Each Mind Matters, which is California's mental health movement, including hundreds of organizations. Today we can and must do our utmost to raise awareness, show our support, and fight the stigma that is faced every day by people affected by mental illness, and that includes their families and loved ones. It's time for us Angelenos to take the lead, as we did with AIDS, in erasing the stigma associated with mental illness. Major depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, anxiety disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, and borderline personality disorder are serious and persistent biological brain disorders, and those with such conditions need our compassion, empathy, and understanding. They are not lesser persons because of what they endure. So let's stop shaming them for their illness so they won't ever hesitate to seek help. They need us to stand up for them, to fight for their medical rights and assist them with their recovery. They need to look to us to honor those who have lost their lives due to their illness. If you look around you, 1 in 4 adult Americans and 1 in 10 children are suffering, as are their families. And that's why we need to support and applaud crucial efforts such as the National Alliance for Mental Health and Each Mind Matters. Their shared vision of mental wellness and equality helps save lives. And I suspect almost everybody here has had some connection to these illnesses. I have had relatives, I've had some friends, and certainly friends who were parents of children who eventually developed these illnesses. And this is serious, and we need to give our support. I want to mention one particular reason among many equally important ones for prioritizing mental health awareness. Our nation has been devastated by a long-lasting and ongoing epidemic of gun violence. And I'm the first to say that's because we allow distressingly easy access to guns and increasingly higher-powered weaponry. However, with each incident, we become more and more hauntingly aware that many of these tragedies might have been averted if there had been more proactive help, care, and understanding regarding mental health issues. Needless to say, the great majority of people with mental health challenges are peaceful and loving and will remain so, even despite the destruction and pain they may feel, and even if they're not given help. But the costs as a society when we look the other way are immense to all and can really run the gamut. So we're here today to raise awareness and tell you there is hope for recovery. Thousands have come here together to stand up for their families and friends, and we invite you to join in as we stand united here today to declare October 10th as World Mental Health Day. And now I'd like to ask my friend and colleague, Councilmember Mitch O Farrell, to say a few words as well.
Thank you, Paul. Colleagues, I am very glad to stand here with Paul Koretz, our General Manager of the Department of Disability, Stephen David Simon, and the National Alliance for Mental Illness and Each Mind Matters to raise awareness and support to the people affected by this illness, but not just only them, but their families. As Paul alluded to, nearly 60 million Americans experience a mental health condition every year. 60 million. Regardless of race, age, religion, economic status, mental illness impacts the lives of at least 1 in 4 adults and 1 in 10 children across the United States. People living with mental illness need help, hope, and they need our support. They need a community that supports them, their families, and their recovery. It is a highly treatable medical condition affecting the brain and requiring the same concern in treating as cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and other major illnesses. As the chair of the committee who oversees health-related matters, I applaud the efforts by our city's Department on Disability and National Alliance for Mental Illness and Each Mind Matters for their tremendous work to end stigma of mental health. And speaking of stigma, I have a very close relative. This is back in the 1960s, and she was institutionalized, a beautiful, beautiful person, now of an advanced age, who lived a full, wonderful life, raised a wonderful family. One of my favorite persons in the whole world, my Aunt Maxine. And she had to endure stigma. Let's remove the stigma from mental illness once and for all. On that note, I would like to bring Stephen David Simon, the General Manager of the Department of Disability, to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. You bet. Thank you. Good morning, council members. Thank you so much for taking the time to recognize World Mental Health Day. It's so important that this city never say that mental health issues are somebody else's problem. There are issues that impact our workforce, they impact our constituents, they impact our communities, our friends, our families, have particular impact on our returning veterans. And I really want to just assure you that the City Department on Disability will redouble our efforts to make sure that when we're working on making sure that city programs, services, and facilities are accessible, that we include mental health issues in that work. I look forward to hearing from the leadership of the National Alliance on Mental Illness on how the city can be of even greater service. So thank you again for making this effort.
Thank you very much, Mr. Steve Simon, for the great work you and your department do.
Now I'd like to introduce Brittany Weissman, who's the Executive Director of NAMI LA.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm here to thank the City Council for recognizing World Mental Health Day in Los Angeles. A special thanks to Councilmembers Koretz and Mitch O Farrell for recognizing World Mental Health Day, which means a lot, not just to NAMI, but to everyone in this room. If you look around, almost 1 in 4 people are affected by mental illness. This could be yourself suffering in silence or being out, or a friend or family member. NAMI exists to provide free support programs and mental health education to the communities within LA, to bring together people who are experiencing signs and symptoms of mental illness in line with hope and recovery, knowing that hope and recovery are possible for everybody that are suffering. And in order to do that, we are marching tomorrow through the streets of downtown Los Angeles as part of the NAMI Walk. It's our 11th year doing this, and we're very pleased to have our opening ceremonies in Grand Park right across the street. We hope you'll join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. for the NAMI Walk in LA. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Everybody's welcome to come.
And now, on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, Mr. O'Farrell and myself would like to present this resolution declaring World Mental Health Day in the City of Los Angeles.
Thank you very much, Mr. Koretz and this very special group of people. Next, I want to call